My name is Liliana. I worked for a private institution, which was a school. I worked in the alumni affair kind of business office where we were receiving gifts, donations from all of the alums that have gone through the school. I have worked for this private institution for 14 and a half years. The person that bullied me got also involved 2 other of her coworkers into it, and they had antagonized me, called me names, they swore at me. One of the coworkers actually had pulled down her pants on 2 occasions and pointed to her buttocks and told me to kiss her Italian ass. I have been humiliated. I have been just terrified throughout the whole ordeal. My boss requested a few days prior to 9/30 of 2010 for what she called it a group meeting. There was no particular agenda to discuss any of this, so I really truly didn't know what to expect, what I was walking into. I then realized that I was basically put in this room and being ambushed by 5 of my coworkers. I had a couple of people just start getting off the chair, come into my face and start yelling into my face. I had one person that has been doing this for the last 14 months to me since May of 2010 basically tell me that she has no respect for me. My life in that office will be miserable for the rest of my life, and she threatened my life. I was scared, I was terrified, I was paralyzed, I didn't know what to do. I just wanted to run out of there, but I couldn't. For whatever reason, I just couldn't get even off the chair because I just couldn't believe that things like this could happen. As this meeting went on, no one in that office stopped this from happening. My boss at some point also got involved in it, which I had put so much trust into her throughout all of this ordeal for the last 16 months, and I thought that she would have at least been there for me. And yet she turned her back and wasn't there to help me. I, since then, had filed many complaints with my former employer. I have been out of work since October 1st, have been going through therapy. I have been diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, plus depression. This has not only affected my life, but it had affected my family's life. I have not been compensated for that time for me to be out. My employer refused to help me in any way. They just basically wanted me to walk away. They didn't want this issue to come to front. They believed that all of this was my fault. They blamed me for it. Ultimately, the price that I paid for something that I loved for 14 and a half years, on April 20th, I got a letter stating that my job is going to be eliminated. And the only thing that I got was, good luck. During this, I also was told by one of the managers that if I went to human resources with this, that I would lose my job. So it was not only the threats that I got from my own coworkers directly, but also from a point of a manager's level. After all of this happening, I ended up actually in the hospital on 2 occasions. The last incident on 9/30 was where I ended up going to emergency room because of not realizing what it was, but it was a panic attack and all the stress that was put on me. I had sustained an emotional distress, flashbacks, nightmares, to a point that not only I wake myself up, I wake my husband up. I would just start screaming in the middle of the night. I have a difficult time falling asleep. There's times that, because of the depression part, has been that I don't want to get out of bed. There has been triggers, there has been recollections, and there has been loss of interest in my life. I had at some point thought and planned to commit suicide because of this. Because I was blaming myself. I thought it was me. And the guilt that I felt, I have been through and going still through therapy on a weekly basis since October. I'm at this point also seeking psychiatric help to control all the symptoms that I've been experiencing with medication. I myself particularly don't care to take medication, but under the circumstances, I need to make myself better. I more or less learned all of the things after I left my work, that all of those things that I was experiencing for all those months, all those panic attacks, all those hot flashes, all those body health-wise, what I was experiencing was all put on by the way I was treated. I didn't realize that until I left and went through the therapy, and my therapist explained to me how physically your body can be affected by such a treatment, such a bullying. I did in some ways felt that during this period of time I was bullied. As you hear so much about kids being bullied in school, we as adults, of course, experience the same thing. It doesn't stop in school. It stops. It never, I guess, stops. It just goes on and goes on into your workplace. You know, even attorneys say to me, this is nothing, you know, get off your butt, go back to work. There's nothing there to protect you, but yet this is not so easy to just get off and turn around and forget. It is something that stays within you. And for me, as a personal experience, I was afraid to go to another employer and be treated the same way and have somebody else treat me this way. I'm also afraid that someone is not there to protect me. There's nothing, as I've learned, to protect me. It has been very difficult. At this moment, I don't know what I will be doing with my life. Try to regroup and move forward. But I'm out there to try to help that someone else will not go through what I had to go through. This bill would help to protect people like me and others that are going through the same situation. I feel that my employer, that's what they wanted to do, is basically they wanted me to either quit or they wanted for me to walk away. They didn't want to pursue this, and so if this bill would pass, it would just help to make sure and for the people to understand that there is a way to say this is wrong and we will protect you in some ways.